All right, this is the last project. I can't believe we made it. This is going to be the pop art project. So if you have not done the fish demo yet, you need to go back and complete that one before you start this one. So for this one, it's going to be very, very similar to the fish demo, only this time you are kind of creating your own scene, and I'll show you what I mean. So when you go onto my website, you're going to go to the digital arts tab and find the pop art project. Okay, so this pop art project includes a little bit of language arts. So for this one, you're going to be choosing an onomatopoeia. So if in case you don't know what an onomatopoeia is, it's kind of I guess it's kind of hard to explain. So I have a list here of all these onomatopoeia words that you can choose from. So it basically is a word that is a sound, right? So, for example, like dogs don't say bark, they just bark, right? Cats don't say meow, they just meow. So all of these words are kind of like sounds, and you're going to choose one and you're going to essentially illustrate what that sound would be. So you can choose one from this list. This is on my website. Or you can just find another one that you like. That's fine too. So if you scroll down here, I have a few examples. Um, this person chose the word splish. So I guess they had this like bathtub thing going on. And they kind of illustrated the word splish with clip art and things like that. Here's another one, poof. This person used Fairly Odd Parents. Um, they use all these characters. I believe they found them from Google. So everything that you use, you're going to be finding these images from Google. This person did like a train. This one is Fizz, so they did like a diner setting. So these are some really good examples of the project, but I'm going to show you how to create that. All right, so I'm going to choose an onomatopoeia from this list. I am going to choose. I'm going to save. What's a good one here? I can do moo, like a cow, moo. Okay. I am going to first go into Pixlr and make sure, because Pixlr is updating all the time and not telling us, make sure that we click Pixlr E, not Pixlr X. Pixlr E is what we want. And I'm going to click Create New. Let's do photo. Let's do landscape 10 by 8. You can just name this pop art and then your name. You can turn the background on. I don't know if you'll be able to. At this point, I'd notice a lot of you aren't able to scroll because Pixlr, I don't know why it's doing that. So if you can't turn on the background, I'll show you how you can make a background. So I'll pretend that I can't do it. So I'll show you right now. Okay. All you'd have to do is click the paint bucket, select the color picker, white, and then just click anywhere. And there you go. So there's your background. All right. So the first thing I want to do for this project, you need one background and 4 extra images and your word, right? So, for example, in this poof, we have our background, Timmy Turner's bedroom. 4 extra images, Cosmo Wanda, I don't know what this baby is called, and Timmy Turner. That's 4. And we have the word, that's 5, right? One background, 4 images, one word. I will write that down just in case so you can remember that. I don't need this anymore. All right. So before I start outlining and coloring and doing all this fun mess, I am going to first create the scene that I want to create right here. And I'm going to use Google Images. Since my word is moo, I think I should probably find something that has to do with like a farm, a cow setting, something like that. Um, if I were, actually, I'm typing here, if I were you, um, I would search up cartoons, right? So if I'm looking up a farm, I would search farm cartoon background. The reason for that is that a cartoon image is going to be much, much easier for you to trace than, let me show you, than a real life image, right? This would be near impossible to trace. Something like this would be much easier to trace. So in this whole project, you want to search cartoon things. So always remember, so whatever you search, farm cartoon, cat cartoon, diner cartoon. So I'm going to find a very basic farm background that I'm going to use that I can put together with my cows. So how about this one? This one's cute. All right, I'm going to copy, right click, copy image, pixeler, paste, or Control V. I'm going to move this. Try to stretch this out as best I can. Some of it's cut off, that's fine. All right, boom, background. I'm going to come over here, right click, call this background. I'm doing this, you don't have to rename them, although I do suggest it. That way you can be sure that you have all of the images you need to have. Okay, so now I need 4 extra images. So with this, don't think too hard about it. What do I need? A cow. Cow cartoon. Okay, this one's cute. Actually, this one probably looks easier to trace. Copy image. Edit. Paste. There we go. I'm going to put my cow right over here. I'm going to use my magic wand to get rid of this background. Eventually, all of these cartoons that we're doing is going to be taken away. So if you have if there are some details that you don't want to include, that's fine. All right, so I have cow. Let me see. Let's do the sun. It's a sunny day. Copy. Again, you can be these images can be very basic. Like there's no sun in this, so I'm putting a sun myself. Like it could be anything like that. It could be something like flowers on the ground. Like if you really are struggling to find ideas, you can just have super basic ideas. All right, I got my sun. I'm gonna do another farm animal. Let's do pig. Also, make sure everything actually fits. So I'm gonna say maybe Peppa Pig is not appropriate for this setting because that wouldn't make any sense for Peppa Pig to be in there unless you're doing an entire Peppa Pig project. That's fine, but I'm not gonna put Peppa Pig in here because she doesn't belong in here, right? So everything should probably fit. All right, and then I'm gonna do one more image. I don't know. Let's do, what is the thing that they eat out of? Farm cartoon. It's got a yes, it is. Okay, copy and then paste. All right. So I have my 4 images, right? That did not take me very long. I'm moving them around to where I like them. Here we go. This guy's eating. I have all 4 of my images. Once I have everything placed wherever I want it, you're going to come over here to the top layer, whatever the layer is, click on it, right click, or if you're on a Chromebook and you don't have a mouse, you could just tap with 2 fingers on the keypad. And we are going to go to merge visible. It's the second one right here. There we go. So now everything is its own, everything's attached. You can't move anything else. Everything's its own layer. If you want to move something, you will have to undo. Control Z, right? Because once you merge all these, that's it. So once you merge it, you can't move them anymore. All right. So the next thing I have to do is I am going to put in my word. So I'm going to go to the text tool, click anywhere. Do you want to add a text layer? Yes. And I'm going to write my word, move. I'm going to pick a font that I like. I suggest, again, a font that you'd be able to trace. Get a nice easy font. Something that's like bold. If it's if it's too skinny, it might be really hard to trace. I can't find any good ones here that are free. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, it's really small. Can't see it. I'm gonna make this bigger. Move. It's pretty good. It doesn't matter what color it is because we are going to again be changing this at some point anyway. I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move it. Get it? Okay. Put my move right there. Done. All right. Once again, right clicking, merge visible. We want this all to be one image. All right. This next part is almost exactly like the fish demo. We are going to turn layer 1, the opacity down to, I don't know, 50. 50 or lower, I would say. I like to go a little bit lower sometimes. Then we're going to add a new layer. So we click this plus sign, empty, layer added. Nothing happens. It's right here. We're going to right click on this. We're going to name it outline. And we're going to add a new layer, empty again. You're going to right click and you're going to name this color. Okay, so your outline needs to be done on the outline layer. Your coloring needs to be done on the coloring layer. They cannot be done in the same layer. We had this issue with the fish demo. Make sure you're in the right layer. Okay, we want the outline layer to be at the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and move that. And now I am ready to start outlining my whole image. So I'm going to click on my paintbrush, or this they call it draw. I'm going to go up here, change the softness to 0. I don't know how big I'm going to need this, but we'll just see. All right, everything else is fine. It's going to help you immensely to zoom in. If you hold down the space bar and you're zoomed in, you get this little like hand. And if you click, you can like move around. Before I start outlining, I just want to remind you. So let's say I don't want to, I'm sorry, I'm giving you guys like, okay. Let's say I don't want to include the mountains or the hay bales, whatever these are. I don't have to. I can just outline everything else and not outline those. That's totally fine. So if there's something in your image that you don't want to include, like, for example, I've had before students had like, there was like 1,000 trees in the background. Do you have to add all those trees? No, you don't. If it's impossible to do and there's so many of them that you just don't need, that's fine. You don't have to include them because eventually we are going to be getting rid of the background, right? So whatever you outline, you can choose the things that you outline. So if they're attached to your background, that's fine. You don't need them. Let me see if I can show you a good example of that. So cartoon backgrounds, cities have they're like this. Do you need to outline every single one of these buildings? No, you don't. You can just choose. You can just outline the front. That's fine. Okay. So once I have all my pictures down and I'm ready to go, I'm going to outline everything. I highly suggest using a mouse at this point. This is going to take you a few days to do. It's probably going to take you more than a few days to do, which is okay because right now I'm going to be posting this. It's going to be January 10th. We have 2 weeks to do this. So please take your time, make it look nice. Again, when you're outlining, don't try to do everything in one swoop because if you mess up, the whole thing's gone. I'm going to actually outline everything in black. So I'm going to change this to black. And then I am going to start doing this. And once I'm done, I will show you how to color. So just give me 1 second. All right, for the sake of time in this tutorial, I have only outlined the pig because my computer is going to die and I don't want to lose this. So I'm just going to show you a very small example. So let's say I'm done my outlining, I outlined everything. If I click on the eyeball on my outline layer, you can see that it's outlined. It's separate from the image. So I'm going to go down to the very first, the very first layer. I'm going to click the eyeball on that. Okay. So once I go to my color outline, my color layer, oh my gosh, there's too many layers. My color layer, I will be able to color in this pig with whatever I want. If you want, you can keep the background layer turned on and you can choose the color layer so you can see exactly where you're coloring. So if you're like, you know what, I really like how this is colored, I'm going to try to copy it, that's fine, you can do that. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click on the pink. You can either use your paintbrush, you can use the paint bucket, as long as there's everything's, yeah, see this, that means something in here is not attached to each other. All right, since that's the case, I'm going to use my paintbrush. Make my brush a little bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to start coloring. Now you can see that since my color layer is behind my outline layer, everything kind of stays underneath. Otherwise, it's going to look like this. I'll show you. If the color layer is on top, it kind of looks very messy and it just covers everything. We don't want that. All right. I'm going to color his eyes white. So just like the fish demo, it's just a little bit more detail. And I do not expect any of this to be perfect, obviously. Look at mine. It's just the project, so I don't need you to panic. Okay. All right. And then once you've colored, so I would say the first step is to color every single thing that you outlined. And then the second step, or the last step, I guess, would be to add the highlights and shadows, just like we did with the fish. Let me just get his tail. This is very small. Okay, so if you want highlights and shadows, where are they? Right here. You don't have to add a ton of highlights and shadows. You can just add a little bit, but you do have to have some. To add highlights, make sure you're on the lighten. And usually I just keep the range here at midtones, but you can also turn on the highlights, and that might be better for colors that are a little bit brighter. Like if you're using yellow, like this light, it just makes it really light. See? So I'll just keep it on there. I don't know where to put highlights. Maybe his nose. I don't know. Okay, that's good for me. And to do shadows, you just click darken. You can click shadows, or you can leave it at midtones. Let me see. It just might be a little bit too dark. Oh no, that's fine. Put some under here. Again, up to you where you do highlights and shadows. It just kind of makes everything pop a little bit more. Okay. And there we go. That's pretty much it. So then at the end, let's say I have this whole thing done. I get rid of my original layer. What's left is what I drew. So essentially, everything that you drew will be left and highlighted and shadows and colored, and it'll look great. So I'm going to try to get this finished. I'm going to stop the video here. Seems like you guys should know a good idea of what you're doing. So of course, if you have any questions, just ask. Again, it's not going to look perfect, and that's fine. It's going to take you lots of time, and that's also fine. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know.